All right, hello grade 10s. This lesson will be uploaded on Monday morning. We're starting a new unit today. It's the second quadratics unit. The first one, I put the test up last week, and as of now, I think maybe 10 or 12 people have done it, maybe something like that. So if you haven't done that yet, the idea was that it was done on Monday, so you should probably get to that today. Okay, so today's going to be a really, really easy day because I know some of you will still be working on the test from last unit. And it is really important that you watch the lessons before you try the test or it will not go well. Um, so the first thing we're going to do today is some basic integer operations. And everything you need is on the handout. Plus there will be a link to a little online quiz for this stuff. So what I would like you to do is to pause the video and fill in all these blanks here. If you can fill in the last blank, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. So please pause, use a calculator if you need to, and fill in all these blanks. Okay, so 2 times 2, 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25, and 6 times 6 is 36. Now 2 squared means 2 multiplied by itself, so 2 times 2 is 4. 3 squared does not mean 3 times 2, it means 3 times itself, or 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 squared is 4 times itself, so 16. 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36. You can see these numbers are the same. And this is the big one. This is why I did this. I want you to tell me or to figure out what is x multiplied by x. And it is x squared. Okay, so that's going to be a very important concept for this new unit. All right, so let's move on. So when multiplying terms, this is what you need to remember in this table here. If the signs are different, so let me highlight here. Signs are different. So positive times a negative, or negative times a positive, you get negative. If the signs are the same, like a positive times a positive, you get a positive. A negative times a negative, you also get a positive. Okay, so this is, like I said, it's going to be a really quick lesson today. I'd like you to fill in all the blanks here. So 4 multiplied by x is 4x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 1 times x is just x. We could write 1x if we wanted. And negative 1 times x is negative x or negative 1x. Again, you can write those ones if you want. You don't have to. So I would like you to pause the video and do the other 8 of these. There's no tricks. I'm not trying to trick you, just trying to get you used to something. All right, give it a shot. Okay, so this is negative 4x, 14x, 9x, negative 3x, negative 7x, 6x, negative 24x, and negative 91x. And I just want to remind you right here, if when you're watching these lessons, you aren't pausing it and doing the stuff that I'm suggesting you do, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble. Because that would be where in class I would actually stop what I was doing and give you time. So you have to push that pause button and try it, or I don't think you're going to learn this stuff. And then when I give out the little assignments or the tests or the check-ins or whatever, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble. So just please do take my advice, pause, and try. All right, next. 4x plus 2x, so we got 4x's, and then we add another 2, we get 6. 5x minus 3x is 2x. 6x plus x, we could say 1x. So 6 plus 1 is 7, and they're both x's. Here's a tricky one, 2x subtract 8x. What you do with these is you can just ignore the x's and just do it on a calculator. 2 minus 8 is negative 6, and we tack on the x because they're both x's. It would be like if you had $2 and you owed or you lost 8, how many dollars would you have? Well, you'd have negative $6. You'd be in the hole. Please pause it now and try the rest of these. Okay, hopefully you paused it and tried it. So I've got x, or 1x plus 2x is 3x. 1x minus 2 is negative 1x. 3x plus another 4 is 7x. 3x minus 4, well, 3 minus 4 is negative 1. I tack on the x. 1x plus another is 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2x. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5x. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. And again, if you need a calculator for these, totally fine. Negative 1 plus 3 is going to be 2x. Negative 5x plus 4x is negative 1x. X minus x is going to be 0x. Or you could just write 0 here. Same thing. If you have 0 cats, you don't have any cats, you just have 0. There's nothing. 8 minus 20 is negative 12x. Okay, I really hope you tried that. And now what I want to do is a quick little exercise. This is not on your handout. Actually, it is. I'm going to add it to your handout in a minute here. So what two numbers add to blank and multiply to blank? So let me tack this on at the end. Okay, so the first one, let's say what two numbers add to 10 and multiply to 7. Okay, and I'm just going to do a couple more of these. What two numbers add to 6 and multiply to 5? And then I'll do what two numbers add to 20 and multiply to 9. And then I'm going to say what two numbers multiply to negative 12 and add to 1. So a little bit tricky there. And then I'm going to say what two numbers multiply to negative 15 and add to negative 2. This is just to try and get you ready for what's coming next. So what two numbers multiply to 14 and add to negative 9? And what two numbers multiply to 24 and add to negative 10? All right, so I've added that to your handout, and now I'm going to go into the program. I'm going to do a couple of these with you. Okay, so what two numbers multiply to 10, add to 10, and multiply to 7? So this is going to be really important starting tomorrow. So first what we do is we always start with the multiply to 7. And we list all numbers, no decimals, no fractions, all nice whole numbers that multiply to 7. So we've got 1 and, did I write that wrong? I did. I mixed that up. So just give me a sec here. What numbers add to, this should have been add to 7 and multiply to 10. All right. What numbers add to 7 and multiply to 10? So what I do now, and sorry for the confusion there, what I do now is I find numbers that multiply to 10. So 10 divided by 1 is 10. So I've got 1 and 10. And then I do 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 2 and 5. 10 divided by 3 doesn't work. 10 divided by 4 doesn't work because it's a decimal. 10 divided by 5 is 2, but we already have 2 and 5, so we're done. Now what we do is we look at our pairs of numbers. So we've done this. Now we look at our pairs of numbers and we see which pair adds to 7. 1 and 10? No. 2 and 5? Yes. So there's our answer. Okay. Let me see here. I want you to do these two. I'll do this one. So what two numbers add to 1 and multiply to negative 12? So this is a bit tricky. Now there's this really important little thing that I showed you earlier, and that's right here. If the signs are different, you get a negative number when multiplying. So for this question here, we multiply to a negative, so that means we have a plus and a minus. So I go to the calculator, and I ignore the signs. I do 12 divided by 1, and I get 12. So I know that 12 and minus 1 multiply to negative 12. And then I can switch it, negative 12 and positive 1. I go back to the calculator. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I get, sorry, I meant to do 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I get plus 6 and minus 2, minus 6 and plus 2. And then I divide by 3. And I get plus 3 and minus 4, or minus 3 and plus 4. Now what I do is I go through and I add these each pair together and I see if I get 1. Now if I kept going, 12 divided by 4, so 12 divided by 4, I'm just back to 3, so I've already got that one. So 12 minus 1 is 11, so it's not that one. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. 6 minus 2 is 4. Negative 6 plus 2 is minus 4. Remember, I'm trying to get 1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Ah, super close. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. So these are my answers. Okay, so I just did this one. I want you to do this one. And now I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to leave you with the last one. All right, so what two numbers add to negative 9? Add to negative 9 and multiply to 14. Okay, so if two numbers multiply to a positive, they're either positives or two negatives. Now, if those two numbers add to a negative, that means they must both be minus. So I got a minus and a minus. So I go to the calculator. 14 divided by 1 is 14. Negative 1 and negative 14. If I add those, do I get negative 9? No. So let's divide by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and I know they're both negative. Negative 2, negative 7. What's negative 2 minus 7? Well, let's try here. So negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. And that's it. I'm done. Okay. So I want you to try those, and then I've got a little Google form quiz that's been posted that you should try after the lesson. All right, folks, thank you very much, and good luck.